Hi guys, nice to see you. Thank you for taking time to talk to me, Luka, Jörn. Luka, you're going to the games. That's why we are having this
Yeah.
conversation now to talk about it. How do you feel going to the games now?
Feeling really good. It was a really stressful month uh, for preparing for traveling, for competing and everything. We had some visa issues that we had to solve because when you're traveling from non-Schengen country to United States, you need a visa, which is really, really big process here. And it took a lot of time, but in the end we got visa. And especially in these Corona times, it's even harder to arrange a meeting for the interview at the embassy. So it was really stressful period, but at the end we got everything done. So I'm happy that we are heading to the medicine.
Okay, great. And Jörn, how is it for you as Luka's coach going to the games now?
It was something that we did not plan it for this year. It was something that happened out of the process. It was like we had some challenges with his knee during the Open. Then we knew that quarterfinals might be the toughest hurdle to take. And we said that if he makes it to semis, we cannot really peak for the quarterfinals. So we decided to play it risky. And he barely made it to the semis because of the forward max front squat, and he's just not as good of a squatter as he will be in a few years. So and then when we went into the semifinal weekend, we were like, okay, let's just see what happens. We don't know where we could be coming out or not. And then day one, he was on sixth place. Day two, he was still on sixth place. And then we were looking at each other saying, all right, there are the two workouts that maybe suit him or kind of suit him are coming up on the next day. So again, let's just not put any pressure. Just go. Yeah. And what happened after that was just a blaze time. It's like it's 2 days ago. It was fucking crazy.
Okay. So I assume the strategy for the games now is gonna continue the same. No plans, just win.
Yeah. I mean, for the semifinals, basically our strategy was just to go to the every event with the goal to execute to the best of my potential. And I think that in the years before, when we were doing some kind of maybe online competition or competition that were happening live, I would tend to look too much what the other guys are doing. And every year now, since we are working together, we were trying to remove that and to focus on like my ability and what I can do on the competition floor and to give the best of my abilities for every event. And especially in online setting, that's really, really important to not look the leaderboard and what the other guys are doing or think about the others. So I think now when we are going to the games, it's even more important to stay in your own lane, because especially when you are a rookie and you have so much new stuff that you never seen before. I bet that warm-up area and CrossFit Games are bigger than any actual arena where I competed. So like in that huge of a setting, I think it's really important to stay in your own lane and to focus on what you can actually do. So I think that our strategy should stay the same as it was for the semifinals, and that's it, like performing to best of my ability in every event.
Yeah, you're probably right there, but I also assume that for you it's even more difficult to just focus on yourself because your brother's also going. And
for sure,
I assume I mean, you guys are really close. So at least probably the two of you are exchanging a lot, I assume, or how is that going?
Yeah, like it's, I think that this year we are managing it like competition wise, the best that we did in the years. I think that we now know how we can like push each other on a competition floor without and in training without like pushing it too much. So in semifinals, we were sharing scores, we were sharing some strategies. We knew what each of us can do, and we were trying to maybe with some strategies or something else to try to help us to help each other so that we can both do the best. So I think it will stay the same for the games. If we are in the same heat, then I think everybody needs to focus on himself. But I bet that we will help each other as much as we can on the games floor. And to be honest, maybe it's a little bit easier now that we will have like one more of us like to help in that process of being first time at the games.
Okay, good. And so you told me you guys are like Jörn and Luka, you are both flying to the States on the 21st, correct?
I'll be flying one day early. I'll be there on the 20th to meet the family.
Okay. And then how is everything planned then? Did the games start 1 week after you arrive? So what do you guys have planned in preparation for that big event?
We will fly a boat to New York. So we will meet in New York and stay there for the 4 days, right? 4 nights.
Yeah. 4 nights.
Yes, and then we will organize a training there. We will try to maybe we sneak some outdoor fitness, like if there are some like lake possibilities, maybe to replicate the Madison or something. Maybe we will do that, but I think that we will most try to acclimatize and try to like get used to the time difference, because I think that most of our work is pretty much done. So now it's all about the tapering and maybe putting some finishing touches. And yeah, pretty much the same as we did for the semifinals.
Okay, so you don't really have it all planned out yet, exactly how it's gonna happen or for the traveling, but your training schedule ahead of the games, do you have that totally planned out? Is that all fixed, or are you also, you Jörn, as the coach, are you going to see how Luka feels and how he is?
Until now, we had a pretty strict plan that we were following because we had to put in some skills that were not tested yet. Like in the open, you only have a very, very narrow spectrum of movements that come up. The spectrum widens as soon as it comes to the quarterfinals, and it even widens more until you go to the semis. But now there's a possibility of everything coming up, and we were not swimming as much, so this is what we put in way more. There was way more running leading up to the games, and of course some other stuff that nobody talks about. But for now, I think tomorrow there's the last heavy training session, and until then it's just going to be some moving, but nothing too crazy anymore.
Okay, and how is that like? You're flying there. Obviously, there's the issue of jet lag, then also food and your meals and all that. I mean, that's all something that is going to be different there than it's now. Do you guys also look on that side of the game, or like how do you handle that? You know, like do you have that all really planned?
I think that we have a full week after we arrive before the competition day, and since the time difference is 6 hours behind, so the Madison is 6 hours behind our regular like home time zone. So I think it won't be that big of an issue after 7 days. I think that we will need maybe 2 to 3 days to acclimatize. That's why we will stay in New York, because we were thinking that it's better there to organize the training because it's a lot more like gym possibilities and stuff than in Madison. So that's why we are staying in New York. And I think that in 7 days we will pretty much be used to the time and the weather, because the weather is way cold. Like, it's not way colder, but here in Serbia it was a crazy heat wave, like for a full month. The average degrees here were like 38 Celsius. So in Madison it's 21 to 25 at the moment. So it's like way easier to train in that weather than the weather that I had at home. So I think from that side too, it won't be like that crazy. And the food, I think we will try to eat the food that we are eating on the regular basis, which we are like, for me, I think that for the whole year, I had like the same 5 meals every day. So I think that in that setting, it's good, because that's usually the food that you can find like wherever you go, like easy oat milk shakes, eggs, chicken breasts, a lot of rice, yeah, some beef, maybe sweet potatoes and stuff. That's like usually my everyday food, and usually wherever you go, that's a really like everybody's really familiar with that. So I think in a hotels where we are staying and with that type of food which I'm used to, I think we will be good on that side too.
And when you come to New York, that's gonna be Lazar and you there, and Jörn, or is anyone else coming? Are you in touch with any other athletes from Europe or somewhere else that you're gonna meet ahead of the games?
No, we are staying like only Lazar, myself, and Jörn, and then Lazar's coach will catch up in Madison. So we are like, we were texting, and we were like helping each other with some other European athletes, because they also had some travel problems. So we had a group with all the other European athletes that qualified, trying to solve problems for everyone, and maybe trying to ask an HQ to help us together. So we stayed in touch, but with traveling wise, and now that competition is getting closer, like we are not staying that close with anybody else.
Okay, good. So, and now before the games, it was also kind of a crazy time and year. Like, how was it in Serbia? Here in Germany, Jörn knows that very well. There were a lot of changes. Like, first of all, long time gyms and boxes were closed. Then in some cities and areas, you were allowed to open. Then you had to close. Then you were allowed to open again. And with the open, like, I mean, you got your home gym with a lot of Suprfit equipment, so you have a good for possibility. But how is that like? How was that for you guys?
Yeah, yesterday we talked to our parents about this whole situation, and our father said a really good thing, which is that in these Corona times, like when everybody was shut down, and we had that advantage that we had our home gym at our home, so we didn't basically need to leave our like home. So we had our huge garage gym equipped by Suprfit, which we have now, I think, for more than a year, right? So we were like really blessed and grateful that we had that. Like we finished that and we placed all the equipment and everything before the Corona started, actually. So when everybody were shut down, we had like huge opportunity to train and now like excel even more, because there were a lot of shutting down, and we could stay in our like regular training regime because we had our like garage gym right next to our house. So that was like perfect setting for us. And I think that's why we excelled so much in these Corona times, because we didn't change our schedule of training. We were able to stay like on our like a regular training schedule. So yeah, we were really, really happy about that. And in Serbia also, there were a lot of shutting down of the boxes. Nobody got a chance to train and stuff like that. So with our own home gym, it was a perfect way to improve while everything was happening.
Yeah, great. I'm happy to hear that. And I'm also really happy that we did that quite a time before Corona came, because afterward it would have been pretty difficult to equip a home gym like yours with all these difficulties in logistics and availability. But for you, Jörn, as the coach, also that's an interesting point. Obviously, you are not only the coach, you are an owner of a box. You have a huge box. You try to offer something exceptional, at least in Germany, to your athletes, and that's a big thing that you are doing there. Also started quite shortly before Corona, and then all these challenges that were coming up. How was that for you? Like keeping that under control, adapting to all the changes all the time, and then still focusing on a athlete like Luka, who obviously, even if you obviously always have the goal to win. I know Luka, he always wants to win, so he always wants to go to the games as well. And how was that for you to handle these two things at the same time?
We moved from 450 square meters to 2,000 square meters in January 2020. And then 3 months later, everything's locked down, which was, I still don't have any words for that. Of course, it hit us hard, but we had a good support structure from Suprfit, from our landlord, from the banks, from the members, of course, who carried us through this. So we were able to take some chances to renovate the gym. You guys gave us an amazing new rig, which builds up the place and structures our classes even better than we could before. And there was a lot of stuff that nobody would have calculated with, a lot of good stuff that happened due to Corona. Mm-hmm. And besides everything, of course, it's shit that the gym was closed, but we had the chance to develop some stuff that we could not have put as much time in as we did. And for Luka, we immediately said that, okay, depression hits because there's no competitions, no nothing. And then I said that this could be the biggest chance of his career because there's no competitions. And this guy is so crazy and so competitive and so needs to compete for like his let's call it mental health at this point. So he everything that was left is training. And that is what we did. And like we put the effort that he would usually have put into competitions and traveling and all that stuff, what comes along, we put that into training, and that paid off big time. So if we structure the next season like we did the last and the seasons after that too, it's going to be
and
crazy.
I also can add to that like since we started working together in 2018, am I right? Yeah. So since 2018, there like Jörn were planning like a lot of stuff and a lot of like basic movements, like trying to improve my technique, trying to improve my like regularly moving, trying to do some like basic stuff that I missed in my like early athletic development. And we were like postponing that because I was competing a lot, because when you are competing a lot, you need to do like more workouts that you would do if you are not competing. So now that we had Corona, like Corona times when you don't have competitions, we now like finally got to do like the plan for the whole year. Like we planned the whole year, we planned the peaks. Of course, we had some like injuries happening and stuff that were also because we were competing a lot before. So I think that it was, for me, maybe, like as Jörn said, one of the best things that could happen to my career.
Yeah, I think that's a great takeaway that I hear from both of you there, that even or especially in these challenging times and the big issues and the new situations that are coming up, to try to find the positive aspects as soon as possible. and then work on that and focus on that. I think that's something that is really of great value, and congratulations to that, and congratulations to the great outcome that you were able to achieve with that. So that's pretty strong, and yeah, you got my respect, because I know how challenging it can be. So that's really amazing, and I was also really happy for you, and somehow it also makes me proud that you're going to games now, because I remember when we first met in Dave Nash's box at the competition, and then shortly after in Serbia. And for me, it was at that time we weren't doing so many sponsorships or working together closely with too many athletes. But it fascinated me how competitive and how focused you are on your goals, and that you I mean, the first step was the games, as I remembered, and I'm really happy for you how fast that went. And I also think from my view, when I'm listening to you guys now, that probably especially in these times, it's even a bigger benefit if you have a coach, and if you have a good coach, I assume, right? Because imagine you don't have a coach, and then you are not allowed to go into the box and stuff like that, like that you have someone at your side who helps you, and guides you through these challenges. I think that's probably also a great aspect. So you are a strong team.
Yeah, we are, for sure. And it's really helpful also because, like, when you have a good coach and when you have someone that you can rely on, it's really beneficial, especially if you have someone to keep it for keeping you honest, because not only in training, but on all of the other aspects of training, like we have like really, really good relationship, and really, really like strong relationship where we are sharing a lot of stuff in training, a lot of stuff in like regular lifestyle. So if I'm not doing something well, I know that Jörn will be the first one to tell me, hey, maybe you should focus more on this, maybe you should focus more on that. And that's in the end, what makes results, because it's not like it's a teamwork. It's not like, of course, that you have to focus 100%, but nobody knows everything, and you for sure need someone to help you with your goals, and not only the goals, but how you attack your goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to that, I once had the idea that I only need an athlete, like I only need the genetic material to take somebody to the games.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, there's an extraordinary personality coming with it. Because even with the best genetic material, there will be fuck-ups in training, as well as in planning training, as in executing training. And when it comes to these fuck-ups, it shows up how good the collaboration is. And that is simply amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, you said 2018, so that's 3 years now, and it's 3 years with quite a long distance, right? So I mean, that was probably also good now looking in the past. When digital was the only way to communicate, you were already used to that, but still keeping a relationship, especially on that level and that performance level, and with the goals you have over such a long distance for 3 years, that shows you are a good fit.
Yeah.
So now looking at what's coming ahead, or what's lying ahead of you guys. So both of you, what is the thing that you are looking forward the most now to? Like, what is about the games? What is it like? The most amazing thing for you, or what you are most looking forward to?
Yeah, for me, like the most amazing thing and the thing that I'm looking most forward to is for sure competing, like actual stepping on the competition floor, especially now that we actually didn't have a live competition in more than a year, and especially that big of a competition. And the games didn't happen last year. Actually, it happened, but only top 5 advanced to the California. which was like a little bit different experience for the whole community. So now when everybody is back together, the audience is allowed in America. It will be 15th year of the games, which is like really special year. It will be probably the hardest games yet, with 15 events during 4 days. So for me, it's like for sure stepping on the competition floor. But not only that, it's also I'm looking forward to the opportunity to gain some experience, because I'm really looking forward for what's coming after that, because now I'm sure that I belong there. I am like maybe if I wasn't sure before, I believed in that, and now I believe in that like 100%, that I belong in that field. And I'm looking forward when the games are done this year to go back and work even harder for the years to come, because for me it's like the goal was never only to make it to the games. My goal was always to win the CrossFit Games, and to win the CrossFit Games, for sure you first need to qualify. And now that I qualified, I am like really looking forward to see what else do I need to be on the podium, to be on top of the podium. So yeah, this year I am the youngest athlete in the field at the CrossFit Games. So for sure I'm looking forward to gain some experience and then to attack next year's even more.
Nice. And you, Jörn, what are you looking for the most?
For me, this is all about learning. I was when Luka qualified, I was all right. This is the next step, and then I was thinking about how to program, and then the thought quickly came that nobody knows shit, and by that I mean that in Olympic weightlifting, you know how to develop an athlete over the course of 10 years, because this sport is so old. The same goes for basically all disciplines in track and field, or kayak sprint, or tennis. Whichever sport you want to take on an Olympic level, you know basically everything about the sport, and there's nothing new to conquer or to develop. You have to rely on what has been done before. And for me, this is just about learning, and then putting pieces and thoughts together that have been there in advance, and then like widening the focus and try to soak it all in, that every bit of knowledge that you can get. And that means traveling, organizing the surroundings. That of course means programming and getting ready for a day of competition at the games, at the actual games. So and then it's going to be heading back. And the most that I am looking forward is the 4 weeks after the games, when everything falls into place for the new season. When I know more about how to get this kid ready, and then see what we can do in the next games. Yeah, this is what I'm looking forward to the most.
Okay, great. So you both are already looking ahead, and you're not only focusing on the short term, you're following long-term goals there.
Yeah. And I think that's what we did since we met. Since we met in 2018, we were like, we knew that this is like, there's a good saying that we knew that this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. And especially like with the type of athlete that I am, that maybe my early athletic development was not that good as some other guys, like gymnastics wise, weightlifting wise, and stuff like that. So basically my first good moving started when in 2018. And since then we knew like that I have a potential, but that this is like that we need to plan for next 3 years, for next 5 years. So I think that's what we did. And even though like our goal came earlier than we expected, I think that's because we planned so good, and we like focused so good on the stuff that needed to be done.
Nice.
There is in CrossFit, there is no such thing as long-term performance development. Nobody does this so far, and no periodization is as strict as what we've been doing this year. So it's basically about learning. And when Luka qualified, the day after, we were looking at each other and we were asking us like, why aren't we going crazy? Why aren't we partying? Like, and then on the when he took us to the airport, me and my wife, we were like, yeah, maybe it's just because it's just another step. Mm-hmm. And that has nothing to do with being cocky. It's just like, it was never the goal to only qualify. Yeah. The goal was to take it further from here. And both of us knew that this is the chance to learn. And for Luka, I know that he doesn't want to hear it, but these first games will be the only time that the games are for fun.
So 15 times in 4 days, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's for fun.
Yeah. You better enjoy it.
He's a bit weird when it comes to fun, I guess.
Not everybody will understand that type of fun. That's correct.
Yeah.
So is that like, as a takeaway, maybe also for the others that are competing and are not on that level yet, is that also maybe the main takeaway, or like one of the best tips from also your experience that you can hand over, like to focus on a long term and work on a long term? Or what would actually be like you guys with that achievement now, what would be a tip or takeaway for others that you can share?
Tip for the other athletes?
Yes.
Yeah. For me, I think it's don't rush anything, for sure. Like for the athletes that are just starting, that's the mistake that I made. And I think that yesterday I did an interview and I had a pretty similar question. It was like, what should I like say to the younger athletes? And I think that my biggest mistake is like, I started alone. Like I didn't have anyone to tell me, hey, your snatch is not good. You can't snatch like that. You can't move like that. You can't always lift with bent back and stuff like that. And when you make when you get used to poor mechanics and like to poor moving, you will not feel that in that year. You will feel that the year after. And I know that all the small injuries that I had that because I have that like poor mechanics that I built alone for the first 2 years of competing and training. So I'm training for 5 years and I am training with coach for 3 years. And those are huge differences, especially because when you're starting alone in a CrossFit gym, you are doing what looks fun, you know? And if you are looking for like a long-term development, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing what looks good. You should be doing what is right. And if you don't have someone to show you what is right, you can't learn that alone. So I think for the athletes that are hoping to make some good like achievements, I think that in starting, the most important thing is like to start good and to build a good mechanics, to build a good technique on everything, on gymnastics, on lifting. And then you can add on that.
And thank you for
that.
So
when it came to that stuff, I usually have conversations with athletes that leave the program or want to leave the program. I ask them, "What are you training for?" And they tell me that they want to train for results. And then they say that the training is not fun. And then I tell them that I can train for fun.
Yeah.
But my goals are totally different, and I'm not here to write fancy programming, because that's just not about it. If you want to perform, you need a certain amount of hunger and patience, and then you have to put in the work, and it takes time. There is no top performance has been built over the course of 2 or 3 years, and this is also why CrossFit is far from its full potential when it comes to games winners. The games winners in 5 years will laugh about the performances that have been done so far. And that does not mean that the athletes were not good so far. That's just that the sport is so young, and we just don't know how to train for it, that it will develop in a crazy direction in the next years.
Yeah, that's like any other sports as well, right? I mean, if you look at soccer now, how fast it is compared to soccer in the 90s or 80s. It's not that they weren't playing good, but it's a totally different game. And
yes,
I assume you're right. That's going to happen here as well. So, and one takeaway from you, Jörn, as the coach, for other coaches in that you would share?
Do your fucking own thing. Try to develop your own stuff and not rely on what anybody tries to tell you. If you stop being free in your mind and just stick to a program that is given to you by somebody else, you're not a coach. You're just repeating stuff.
Okay. But that means hard work.
That's what it is, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. So, Luka, one more question, like about the workouts in the games, or one discipline. What is the workout or the discipline that you would like to have, and who would you like to compete? What do you think is your strongest, and who do you want to beat on a 1-to-1 level?
No, for me, it's like the more running, the better. And the more like non-sexy stuff, for me, it's the better. Like grunt work, long workouts, and the workouts that were announced so far are like also like suiting me really well. And I think that's like on this level of competition, we always talked about that the games programming are suiting me the best. Mm-hmm. So I think that for me, I will show that this year, that maybe I know that a lot of guys wouldn't like put me, and the predictions that were before even the semifinals, like a lot of guys were like predicting me in 17th place before 20th place before the semifinals, and I qualified in 3rd. So I hope that we will see like a pretty similar showing at the games, because I know that the stuff that we were focusing on for last 3 years, like in that long-term development, I know that nobody did that. And I know that I have a huge advantage in some games workout that will show just because of the stuff that we did for last 3 years. So I think I'm like really, there's not like, as I said, like I hope to see a lot of running, but it's not only running. I know that I have a lot of strengths, and comparing to the field that I know that I have a lot of events that I will look at and say I know that I can win this event. So I just look forward to complete all of those events and to try to win some. And yes, I just, the games programming so far were always really good, and I really love the way that they program the games. So if they repeat that this year, I think that there will be a lot of events that I look forward to. But to say like one event, it's probably going to be running.
Okay, good. So then I hope you get a lot of running, and I also hope that you have a great time there. Yeah. I wish you all the best, like a lot of success, a lot of experience. That's what you're looking for the most. So, exactly. So I'm sure you're going to get that. Like I said before, I mean, I love professional sports, and I also love competing. And yeah, for me, it was fascinating when I saw you the first time, how determined you are. So I'm really happy for you, and it makes me proud that you achieve what you are looking for. So I wish you all the best and good luck, and also like that everything around the games goes as smooth as possible. It never will be 100%, but you know that you have a good fly and stuff like that. That things are going smooth for you, so you can focus. And yeah, also Jörn, to you, like, congratulations to what you have achieved there. We know each other for many, many years, since the beginning of the sport in Germany. And yeah, I see what you are doing for a long time. And also I'm really happy for you as well, that you have such a great success as a coach now, and that you guys both have the chance to go to the games now. So yeah, thank you for taking the time now, so shortly before you travel, to speak to me. And all the best from Team Suprfit to you guys.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see how it goes. And yeah, send us some pictures of
will.
your journey and let us know how it all goes down.
Yeah, thank you very much for all the best wishes, and thank you very much for supporting us on this journey, because for sure there's a saying, it takes a village, and for sure like it takes a village, and especially like thank you in these times, like there's a huge plus for us was having a gym and having our own space where we can like just focus on us and work. And I think that's why we improved so much in these times. So thank you very much for supporting us on our journey. And let's hope that together we make a lot of good memories and a lot of more games and podiums.
Yes, in 2 or 3 years, we sit here after the games talking about your win.
Yeah, exactly. That's the goal.
Okay. That's a good plan, yeah.
Guys, all the best. Stay safe, have a safe trip, and come home with good experiences.
Thank you. I see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.